The morning Theo packed his protein powder and walked out of our Lion apartment, he delivered his final verdict like a death sentence. You are not motivated enough, Saskia. Not fit enough. Not camera-ready enough for the life I am building. His words cut deeper than any blade ever could. 6 years of my life dissolved in 48 hours while he moved in with Nikita Blaze, an Instagram fitness goddess who filmed sunrise yoga sessions in neon thongs and posted smoothie bowls that matched her perfectly manicured nails. I stood in my empty apartment, surrounded by the ghost scents of his beard oil and the suffocating smell of betrayal. At 35, I felt like damaged goods thrown away for a newer, shinier model. My career as a textile designer at a fading luxury label in Lion suddenly felt pathetic compared to her million followers and brand partnerships. I was sketching silk scarves while she was building an empire of influence, one perfectly filtered photo at a time. But here is the thing about heartbreak. It does not just destroy you. Sometimes, if you are fierce enough, it forges you into something unstoppable. The first week after Theo left, I could barely function. I called in sick to work and lived on wine and leftover takeout containers. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications from their joint Instagram account. Couple workouts in matching leggings. Protein smoothie recipes. Morning meditation sessions where they gazed lovingly at each other while talking about authentic living and optimizing your potential. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Instead, I started sketching. Not silk this time. Not delicate patterns for overpriced scarves that only wealthy women would wear to charity galas. I sketched athletic wear, stretch fabrics, moisture-wicking mesh, designs that would not flatten curves or make women feel exposed, sportswear that would make every woman feel like the warrior goddess she truly was, regardless of her fitness level or Instagram following. My tiny kitchen became my laboratory. I ordered fabric samples and spent sleepless nights creating prototypes. My sewing machine hummed until 3 in the morning while I perfected seams and tested compression levels. Each stitch was fueled by rage, determination, and something deeper. The burning need to prove that I was not just enough. I was extraordinary. I called my line Valkyrie Motion. Goddess. Warrior. Forward only. The name came to me during one of those late-night design sessions when my hands were raw from cutting fabric and my eyes burned from strain. Valkyries were Norse warrior women who decided the fate of battles. They chose who lived and who died. They were fierce, powerful, and absolutely unstoppable. Just like I was going to be. My background in textile design became my secret weapon. While other athletic wear companies focused on marketing and celebrity endorsements, I focused on innovation. I developed fabrics that moved like a second skin, compression technology that supported without restricting, color palettes that made every skin tone look radiant. Every piece was designed with one goal: to make women feel invincible. The business plan came together surprisingly quickly. I had savings from my years at the luxury label, and my portfolio of textile work opened doors with investors that I never expected. When I pitched Valkyrie Motion, I did not talk about market research or competitor analysis. I told them my story. I told them about being discarded for not being enough, and how that moment of devastation became the catalyst for something revolutionary. This line was created by a woman who was told she was not enough. I would say during investor meetings, every piece is designed to remind women that they are more than enough. They are everything. The investors loved it. More importantly, they believed in it. 9 months after Theo walked out of my life, I was standing backstage at a small runway show in Paris, preparing for the launch of my first collection. My heart pounded as I adjusted the final look. A midnight blue sports bra and high-waisted leggings set that I had personally perfected through 17 iterations. I was not just the designer. I was the closing model. Walking down that runway in my own creation was the most terrifying and exhilarating moment of my life. Every step was a declaration. Every pose was proof. When I reached the end of the runway and looked out at the audience of buyers, press, and industry professionals, I felt something I had not experienced in years. I felt powerful. The collection sold out online within hours of the show. Fashion blogs called it revolutionary athletic wear for real women. Fitness enthusiasts praised the functionality. Style magazines celebrated the aesthetic. But the moment that changed everything came 2 weeks later when a mid-tier influencer posted a photo wearing our signature leggings with the caption, "Finally, activewear that makes me feel powerful, not exposed." The post went viral. And guess who commented underneath it? Nikita Blaze. I recognized her username immediately. My stomach dropped as I read her bubbly comment about loving the line and asking about collaboration opportunities. Then came the direct message that made my hands shake. "Hey gorgeous. Absolutely obsessed with your line. Would love to collab if you are ever looking for models. I think we would be such a perfect fit. Love and light, Nikita 2 hearts." I stared at the message for a full 10 minutes, my mind racing through 1,000 different emotions. Rage. Disbelief. And then slowly, something that felt dangerously close to amusement. She had no idea who I was. I crafted my response carefully, keeping my tone professional and friendly. I thanked her for her interest and mentioned that we were indeed casting for our upcoming lookbook shoot. I explained that it was an unpaid opportunity, but would provide excellent exposure for the right model. She responded within minutes, absolutely thrilled. The day of the photo shoot, I arrived early to oversee every detail. I chose the music, songs that reminded me of my strength, my journey, my transformation. I selected each outfit combination personally. When Nikita arrived with her team of 3 assistants, I introduced myself simply as Saskia, the creative director. She was exactly as I remembered from Theo's photos. Impossibly tall, perfectly toned, with that effortless beauty that looked stunning even under harsh studio lights. But there was something different about seeing her in person, wearing my designs. The leggings I had created for women who felt invisible suddenly looked incredible on the woman who had made me feel exactly that way. She was professional, gracious, and surprisingly down-to-earth. Between shots, she complimented the quality of the fabrics and the thoughtfulness of the designs. She mentioned how refreshing it was to work with a brand that seemed to understand real women's bodies. "These designs are honestly way better than most of the stuff I used to model," she said during a break, adjusting the sports bra that I had spent weeks perfecting. "There is something so thoughtful about every piece. Like whoever designed this really understands what women need." I smiled, my heart racing with the intensity of the moment. "Thank you. That particular set was actually inspired by a very personal experience. A breakup, actually." She nodded sympathetically. "Oh, I totally get that. Breakups can be so inspiring creatively. I actually just got out of this relationship where the guy was kind of controlling about my career. Like he thought he knew what was best for my brand better than I did." My blood turned to ice water. "Really?" "Yeah, his name was Theo. Sweet guy, but he had these ideas about how I should present myself online that just did not feel authentic to me. He was always pushing me to be more aspirational and less relatable. I realized I needed to focus on building something real, instead of just looking perfect for someone else's vision." The irony was so thick I could barely breathe. She had left him. The fitness goddess with the perfect life had walked away from my ex-boyfriend because he was trying to control her brand. The same man who had called me unmotivated had been dumped for being too controlling. I managed to keep my expression neutral. "That sounds like it was the right decision." "Definitely. I am much happier focusing on authentic partnerships now. Like this shoot. Working with brands that actually care about empowering women instead of just using them." The rest of the shoot passed in a surreal haze. I watched Nikita pose in outfit after outfit, each one a piece of my journey from devastation to triumph. She brought energy and professionalism to every shot, completely unaware that she was modeling clothes designed by the woman whose life she had inadvertently helped destroy and rebuild. When we wrapped, she hugged me goodbye and promised to tag us when she posted the photos. She mentioned again how much she loved working with brands that had authentic missions. 3 days later, the lookbook launched and sold out our entire inventory within hours. The photos were stunning. Nikita looked incredible, but more importantly, the clothes looked powerful. Orders poured in from major European retailers. Fashion weeks in Milan and New York started reaching out. A US launch moved from dream to inevitable reality. My phone buzzed constantly with congratulations, interview requests, and partnership offers. But the message that made me laugh out loud came a week later. It was from Nikita again, asking about becoming a brand ambassador for Valkyrie Motion. This time, I did not respond. Instead, I did something that felt perfectly petty and absolutely satisfying. I ordered a pair of our new men's compression shorts in the smallest size we made, and had them shipped to Theo's new address with a note tucked inside. You inspired the empire. Wear it with pride. 6 months later, Valkyrie Motion was featured on the cover of European Business Weekly as one of the fastest-growing athletic wear companies in the world. The article called me the Heartbreak CEO and detailed how a devastating breakup had led to a revolutionary approach to women's sportswear design. I kept a copy of the magazine in my new Paris office, right next to the framed photo from our first runway show. Every morning when I arrived at work, I looked at that image of myself on the runway, confident, powerful, unstoppable, and remembered the woman who had stood in an empty apartment 9 months earlier, surrounded by the smell of betrayal and abandoned dreams. That woman thought she was not enough. This woman built an empire to prove otherwise. The latest numbers showed Valkyrie Motion on track to hit 50 million in revenue by year-end. We had partnerships with major retailers across 3 continents. Celebrities were wearing our pieces to premieres and posting about them without being paid to do so. The company that started as revenge had become something much bigger. A movement that reminded women everywhere that they were already everything they needed to be. Last week, I received an email from a woman in Tokyo who said our leggings helped her feel confident enough to leave an abusive relationship. Another message came from a teenager in Detroit who saved up for months to buy one of our sports bras because she said it made her feel like a superhero. These stories arrived daily now, reminders that Valkyrie Motion had grown beyond my personal vendetta into something that actually mattered. But if I am being completely honest, there is still a part of me that savors the poetic justice of it all. Theo thought he was trading up when he left me for an Instagram influencer. Instead, he lost the woman who would build an empire, and kept the one who would eventually leave him for being too controlling. He thought I was not motivated enough to match his ambitions. Now I employ over 200 people and have created something that will outlast any relationship. The sweetest part? Nikita still has no idea who I really am. She posts occasionally wearing pieces from our latest collections, always tagging us with genuine enthusiasm. She has become one of our most effective ambassadors, and she does it completely organically because she truly loves what we represent. Sometimes I think about telling her the truth, about revealing that the woman whose relationship she accidentally ended is now the CEO of her favorite athletic wear brand. But then I realize the story is perfect exactly as it is. She helped destroy my old life without knowing it, and then she helped build my new one the same way. Theo was right about one thing. I was not motivated enough for the life he wanted to build. I was motivated for something infinitely better, something that was entirely my own. They say the best revenge is living well, but I have discovered something even more satisfying than that. The best revenge is building something so magnificent that your betrayers inadvertently become part of its success story. Every time Nikita wears Valkyrie Motion, every time she posts about our brand, every time she unknowingly promotes the empire built from the ashes of the relationship she helped end, she becomes part of my victory. And that victory tastes sweeter than any revenge I could have planned. If this story of transformation and triumph inspired you, please subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales of women who turned their pain into power. Your support helps us share these stories of resilience with women everywhere who need to hear them. Hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments. What empire are you building from your heartbreak?